With MLS teams Brady right here in Chicago, Matt Turner with New England Revolution, and Freeze with NYCFC. Aronson. Now Roldan. Aronson gets the chance to get into the game, having missed a couple of days of training before that Senegal game as he went and got married. Mauricio Pochettino was talking ahead of this game about the decision to allow Aronson to leave. This is Raum down the left side, and Freeze is able to claim. He said you have to be a lot more human these days and take things into account that are going to make people happy and get players to be in confident mood and where they want to be. He said, however, it would not have happened when I was a player with any of my coaches. There would have been absolutely no way they would have allowed that in the past. This is Raum. Raum floats it in towards the back post. Nevelling's ball in, and then over the bar by Undav.
You can see what he's trying to do. A lovely first touch back to Undav. Tries to really quickly get to that near post. Comes to him too quickly for him to get up off his feet and knock it down.
Tar underneath it, chest this one towards halfway. Free kick given the way of Germany. 63,636, the crowd inside Soldier Field, and they have given this team a wonderful send-off from the stands for sure. The high ball out towards the far side for Nevelling. Nevelling the substitute. 1 goal in 4 previous caps for the 25-year-old Stuttgart man. US Soccer on TNT is presented by Coca-Cola, proud partner of US Soccer. Nevelling chasing down the right side here as he tries to put pressure on, and defended there by Max Arfsten. In it comes here towards Sebastian Berhalter. Goretzka, one of the 4 changes about to come for Germany here. Nadim Amiri, the Mainz man, also getting set to come in. Stieler, the defensive midfielder from Stuttgart. And here come the changes from Nagelsmann.
I believe.
I believe. I believe that we. I believe that we will win. 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 I believe that we will win.
A little later on today, the second game of our US national team's doubleheader. The US women's national team in Brazil. For the first of 2 games they'll play again on Tuesday night, but they will kick off in Brazil a little over an hour after this game finishes, as Emma Hayes prepares her side for a World Cup as well, coming in Brazil next year, and wonderful preparation for them to be able to go and play 2 games in the conditions, in the stadiums that they might be in, to be able to get that experience 12 months out from a World Cup.
What a start she's had. She and Pochettino, good friends, know each other well from their time in England.
Berhalter wide to the left side. Arfsten's cross into the middle. Scally battling to try and get there, and Scally from distance, it's tipped round by Baumann. Wasn't too far away from being the leveling goal.
Well done from Scally. He's running away from the goal. Does really well to get power on that one. I mean, it's probably going wide, but he had to be sure of it because it was hit so cleanly.
Joe Scally still looking for a first international goal. This cap number 26 for the 23-year-old from Lake Grove, New York. Great delivery into the box, headed away by Tar. like it went out of play, but play continuing here as it comes in towards Aronson. And now, did the flag go up? It did eventually.
Watch this. Okay, Berhalter.
Confident mood. Couldn't quite keep it in play there, but Sebastian Berhalter.
I would love to see the reaction of his dad. If I ever did that, I did that sometimes in training when his dad was there, and he would have knocked my head off for trying that. But he pulled that off. That was smooth.
Greg Berhalter, now head coach of the hometown team here in Chicago, the Fire, who play in this stadium in MLS. 8 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Scally in there with the first challenge. Amiri battling. Rams ball across, headed forward by Arfston. Aronson chasing to get there, but Valdemar Anton on the far side. Anton Valdemar with another chance to play this one in towards the edge of the box. It's a chance here for the shot, just wide. Nadim Amiri with a strike, couldn't test freeze.
You've seen so many of those cutbacks from Germany. They always have a player that's just waiting, coming to the 18, and it's a beautiful, beautiful strike.
It's 1 goal in 10 caps previous to today for the Mainz man. Missed the November and March windows due to injury. It was 3-1 last time these teams met, and it was close to being 3-1 there. You talked before the game about what the last home World Cup meant to you. It's incredible to think we are now just 7 minutes plus stoppage time away from it happening again now. And the memories that will be created right across the country. For the kids, for the older ones as well.
Yeah, I'm going to that first match with my brother and one of my childhood teammates. It's going to be special.
A challenge in there on the far side as it's brought forward by Arfston. Back for Gio Reyna. Reyna inside for roll down, the Seattle man. Now Berhalter finds Scally. Scally back towards McKenzie. Mauricio Pochettino giving most of his starting lineup around an hour today before the changes started to come for the United States. Here's Reyna, one of those players that came in during the second half. Trusty. Coming up next, the CBS Health post-game show. DeMarcus Beasley, Brian Dunseth, Brad Guzan breaking this one down today. Carl will join them as well. And Tim Weah is penalised there for the foul. Rahm, the player that is down.
I think Rahm's a little bit fortunate here. Maybe not. That's a foul. I love when you make your call early and the replay just completely contradicts it.
Guys, before that play, it didn't seem like Mauricio was very happy. They were in their attacking side of the field. USA is attacking half of the field in possession, but then passed the ball back to Matt Freese. It looks like he was pointing, hey, we got to go forward, we got to play forward, especially at this time of the match. Didn't look like he was happy with that one.
Little flick on here, Undav can't get there as it rolls through towards Matt Freese.
They got to start taking some chances. There's a timidity and almost a complacency on the ball, especially when Germany's getting back in that mid to low block. Got to take some chances. Got to try to take some players on, or just try to get that back line to spin and face their own goal. It's been so easy for them to just shift and watch the U.S. take the ball east and west.
Great venue for the send-off game. A stadium here at Soldier Field, the U.S. playing in for the 17th time. 3 Gold Cup finals here as well. We talked about that Benny Feilhaber strike, 2007, the 2-1 win against Mexico. The win against Panama in 2013. Brek Shea scored that day. And of course, this is a venue that hosted World Cup games in 1994. 3 of them included Germany. They won their opening match of the tournament here against Bolivia with a Klinsmann goal. They tied Spain in the group 1-1. Aronson cutting in from that far side. Aronson! Underway by Baumann. Just opened up so nicely for him, didn't it? Berhalter, a set-piece specialist, across to take the 10th corner of the game for the United States. Drops towards Reina. And the block coming from Goretzka. The Bayern man who missed all of qualifying injured. Aronson in for Reina. Weah couldn't keep it down.
I think the U.S. had sometimes gotten to this position and overpassed at times in the first half, and right there after that touch, he's just thinking, shoot, look at the movement on that last minute. This will be a good view of it. It's a good save, even though it's near him, it's the movement almost came back on him at the last moment. Great strike.
Well, for much of this afternoon here in downtown Chicago, the United States went toe-to-toe with the number 10 ranked Germany. As this one's held back by Tarr, Pepi putting the pressure on. And there were times when they were dominating, especially towards the end of the first half. Mauricio Pochettino's men had chances to try and take the lead. Sané's goal right now in the 57th minute, assisted by Havertz, is going to win this one for Germany. Lots of positives to take away from that first hour.
Absolutely. You call that both teams 11, which you easily can.
Yep.
And that's defensible. The U.S.'s 11 definitely outplayed Germany through most of that match, and yeah, Germany didn't create a lot of clear goal-scoring chances. Give them credit for bearing the ones that they did. The U.S. were the instigators through most of the match.
Weah's ball through for Scally. Weah was caught there late, and Weah has got into a challenge here that will get him a yellow card because he was frustrated he didn't get the free kick before that. In fact, the referee has shown this one as well to Maximilian Baer. Looked as if he was waving the card towards Scally as well, but it must have been Weah. But there was a challenge from Baer that came on Weah. Nothing happened. Well, that was the first challenge on Scally. But it at times has been a feisty affair, hasn't it, as well? Nobody taking it easy. Well, Baer definitely got the yellow. As we move into stoppage time here, stoppage time presented by Marriott Bonvoy. 6 minutes left for the United States in the final game before the World Cup begins.
Yellow card caution was issued to Germany's number 14.
The throw-in from Raum. Good foot onto that one by McKenzie, and Weah up towards Pepi, who helps that one off. Pepi pushing it forward for Reina. Germany racing to get back. They want to get a victory here, heading into the tournament as well. Aronson battling with Tarr. What a fight that was, and a huge challenge coming in from Weah on Raum, and the German players don't like that. Tarr is in there, and it's all boiling over a little bit here in stoppage time at the end of the World Cup send-off game.
And here's the challenge. Way is at full speed at that point. Now listen, people will say the position of that foot. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a really hard, crunching challenge.
Mauricio Pochettino is on the pitch right now.
I mean, Pochettino's era, not only is that even contemplated, you'd maybe be embarrassed by your own team if you sat down and complained about it. I mean, there's some hard crunching tackles in his era from him. I think of Ayala and some of those Argentine defenders over the years.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Four more minutes of stoppage time left to be played. Everybody up on the bench as well, all the substitutes. The guys that started and came off are all lined up along the edge of the technical area right into this one right now, and most of the action going on right in front of the US bench here as Weah's throw comes back towards Sebastian Berhalter. Berhalter down the right side for Weah, push forward towards Scally. Scally there in the challenge with Slotterbeck. And it's a throw here right by the corner flag for the US as it comes back towards Sebastian Berhalter.
Germany's number 15, Slotterbeck, in stoppage time.
The bench is on their toes, fans are on their toes. Guys, this just brings me back to game one. Mauricio Pochettino telling us he wants his team to be aggressive. He wants his team to be intense. He's used to that Argentine and South American football. And honestly, proud moment that this US men's national team is showing that late in the game, last game before the World Cup starts. Just that in itself is sending a message.
If this is what the send-off is like, imagine what the real thing will be. And don't forget what happened at the end of that Paraguay friendly in Chester last fall as well. Bit of history between those two teams. Got into a bit of a scuffle in stoppage time at the end of that game in November. It goes for a goal kick here with a little over 2 minutes remaining. It's next Friday in LA against Paraguay for the United States. The US winning the last 3 games against Paraguay, including 2-1 in Chester in November with Reina and Balogun goals. Then on to Seattle on June 19th to take on Australia, who they beat by 2-1 in October when Haji Wright scored twice. But this will be the first competitive meeting, and it happens in a World Cup. And the group stage comes to a close back in LA with a 6 all-time meeting against Turkey on June 25th. A little heated at times here today, a little heated as well in a couple of friendlies around the world, including Chile, Portugal. Well, there was a bit of a scrap. This time Goretzka goes down.
I love the attitude of the players that have come in this game, trying to make a difference. Last game against Senegal, same thing. Wholesale changes, attitude didn't drop, intensity didn't drop. They want to go win this game.
Back it comes to McKenzie on halfway. Aronson's ball backwards, Reina down the line. Trusty pushing it forward. Afsted at the byline, can't quite keep that one in play.
Pochettino's side have answered a lot of questions in the recent performances. The only question left, I think, is the health of Richards. Everything else, this team is ready for that first game.
Baumann launches it long. Weah looking to head it straight back forward. Leroy Sané, the match winner here. The next time we see this US men's national team will be in the opening game of a home World Cup. Mauricio Pochettino's men falling to defeat in the World Cup send-off match here in Chicago today. But for an hour, they battled against a European heavyweight, and at times they dominated. Leroy Sané with the winning goal. Anthony Robinson's stunning striker highlight today to level things after Havertz's early goal had given Germany the lead. And it finishes here. United States 1, Germany 2 in the World Cup send-off match. Presented by Coca-Cola on TNT.